Hey blokes and dolls, how you doing? Time for another video. You're going to love this video. You're going to love this video. We found Satan at Gobeckli Tepe. Yes, I can prove it. We have found the Hellhound, Satan's Hellhound at Gobeckli Tepe. We have found Canis Major at Gobeckli Tepe. Holy moly! Showing an established astrology at Gobeckli Tepe. Showing the stars, or astronomy. It is astronomy. These were, I tell you what, these were better astronomers than the archaeologists. I tell you what, these were good astronomers. We found some Bible stories. We found there's so much here. This was. You think, how did the Jewish religion take over Europe? They already had the religion. We see it. We see it here at Gobeckli Tepe. It was already there. It had taken over Israel a long time ago, long before it supposedly spread out to Europe. Now, let's get into this. We look for Hebrew words for everything. It's not correct. We look at the Hebrew word. We say cross means anointed. No, it means cross. Christ means cross. We look for a Latin word, mass means dismissal. No, it's just the Germanic word, a mess hall. It's for eating. It's a feast. And this continues on and on and on. So let's get into it. I'm sure you'll love it. And we're also saying in this video, it's not Stone Age. They say, oh, look at that. He's wearing an animal skin. Ha, 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 ha. No, it's just showing. No, the point of that is to show that this bloke is naked on a cross. He is part of the cross. He's become part of the cross. He's a cross god. There was a cross god. What's another cross god? Another cross god is the Great Pyramid. It's a cross god. A giant cross, basically, a square. That's what's going on here. Not Stone Age. These were not their normal clothes to wear something like that and carve it. They're just carving it for the same reason we paint a picture of a naked Jesus. Are we Stone Age? Was the Renaissance Stone Age because they painted pictures of a naked Jesus on a cross? These people would have had paintings as well. Obviously, they're all perished. They would have had books and manuscripts, 100%. I've already seen indications they had an imperial system, so this was fallen from a higher civilization, possibly. Let's get into it. You're going to love it. I hope you loved the one about the naked guy on the cross. Let's get into it. Let's do this, people. Let's, come on. Hang on. Oh, I had to turn that down so you can see it. Okay, what's that? It's a dog, but it looks like a snake, right? Ready? Steady, Freddy, spaghetti. Canis Major. Yeah. There's Canis Major at Gobeckli Tepe. So part of our Western astrology was already there. Now you notice the Western astrology and the Egyptian astrology are two very different things. That's because I suppose Egypt is partly it's part European, but it's also part African, and it has been since the start. There's been Africans living there, and there's been Europeans living there since the very start. We've suggested in earlier videos that the European hieroglyphs and the Linear A and the Linear B and the Vinca all come from the alphabets of Eastern Europe. We've suggested that it is complete nonsense to suggest that Greek philosophers and monks went off to Russia and to Eastern Europe and blessed them with their divine wisdom of the Glagolithic alphabet and of the Cyrillic. They already had these scripts. These are just different variations on the alphabets. These are legends. These are silly ideas. These are wrong. Now, let's continue. I don't know why that was so... Let's see. Okay, well, it seems that the phone really picks up very faint light, so I don't need to have it too bright like I did before, but let's turn it up a bit. So Satan is, we've established it's 100 snakes. We've seen that on Wikipedia. And a long time ago, I made a Satan video saying Satan comes from the Caucasus. His name is Satanaya. Satanaya comes from sto, 100, and people say this means 100 snakes. But the article never says that this guy is Satan. This is the Western civilization Satan. And the implication is Satan comes from the Caucasus. It's the Caucasus god of the Ossetian people. When Noah founded his ark, where the Caucasians come from. So this shows that our biblical religion does not come from Israel. It comes from the Caucasus. Israel was an offshoot. Rome was an offshoot. Egypt was an offshoot. Greece was an offshoot. Were the sea levels much higher at one time? And we're looking close to the Caucasus here in Göbekli Tepe. And what do we see? We see, whoops, bunch of snakes. 3 snakes coming down from heaven like a river. Like this could be the rainbow serpent. Another one up there. These are cobras or something. But look here. These wrapping around the stone are snake heads. And this is just what the Viking stones do. They have a big stone and they wrap a snake around like that. Not seen in Ireland, even though it was full of Vikings. So that's how I think St. Patrick got rid of the snakes, got rid of those stones. There was a big snake around like that. So here the snakes are just wrapping around. And there's tons and tons and tons and tons of snakes. 2 birds talking to each other, a spider. It's a snake stone. It's Satan. That's 100 snakes. That's the stone of Satan. That is Satan right there. I mean, Satan's in the damn Bible. And you see the same thing. Did you see how they were lined up like that? Look, this is the same thing. I have to turn that down. A Karnak, this must be also Satan because it's a giant serpent in itself, but it's made up of lots of smaller serpents as we're seeing at Göbekli Tepe. Okay. So, something we're going to see in a second. Is Satan ever associated with a dog? Yes, Satan is associated with a dog in various traditions. You're going to see why in a second. Often as a demonic hellhound or as a symbol of evil. In folklore, the devil sometimes appears as a black dog, especially in European traditions, and some Christian traditions view dogs as symbols of evil, though the symbolic meaning can vary. Yeah, this is the reason. Because on the other part of that stone, there's the spider, I think. There's the spider there. That's the other part of the stone. We see that snakes are coming out of... are coming out of the dog. So I thought, well, hang on. Is dog associated with Satan? And yes. Yes. Effigy of Satan, Canis Major, Hellhound. This is the stone relating to Canis Major in the sky, which can only mean that Sirius, the dog star, was associated with Satan at one time, which is interesting. Although I did look that up, I just passed that slide, and it showed that no, Sirius is not usually associated with Satan, except in some modern traditions, but not traditionally. So maybe yes and maybe no on that one, right? But here's the thing. All these Bible stories and ideas, they've always been associated with monasteries, books, and learning. This Göbekli Tepe is obviously a kind of mountain monastery / cathedral, 100%. And so would they have had books? Would they have had manuscripts and learning? Oh, I guess so. They have the same ideas that we have. They venerate them in similar ways to we do, even recent generations. These people were living a medieval-like existence. Did they have iron tools? We've only excavated a tiny part of their world, and we're saying they're Stone Age. Just an acre or two, and we're saying they're Stone. Let's excavate a bit more. Let's find the agricultural implements. Let's reserve judgment. I suspect books, manuscripts, Iron Age. And look, I don't just say that for no reason. I've got more evidence. We've got more evidence. We've got the ancient. I've looked up the measurements. Yeah, they seem to. This is why I want them to excavate more like Jimmy does. They seem to use imperial measures. And the imperial measures are based on the most advanced system you've ever heard of. It's basically, this system comes down to us as the Druid religion of measuring the earth, the pyramid measuring the earth, but also the Pythagoreans measuring the earth. And it's all based on earth measures and all this. So where the hell do these people come from? So the snakes, they're cobras. And yeah, you see these on the stones, clearly a type of cobra. If they had another reason to worship the cobra is this, or the snake is this. Microscopes, magnifiers, seeing single cells, sperm. That's another reason why you'd worship the snake, because why would you just worship it outright for no reason? Advanced civilization in the past before this, destroyed. It says in bloody human history, in the Egyptian history, we record many deluges. It says in Babylonian history there were 5 floods, not 1. It goes on and on and on. Destruction and destruction and destruction. I suspect you would have needed magnifiers also for stonework to assess quality of stone. Another variation of Janus. Why? Because he's holding. It's like the mirror image thing happening again. Because he's holding with his hands 2 sticks or staves, and the staves go up to there like they're part of his clothing or something like that. The Urfa figure, 9000 BC. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Gobeckli or Terra, probably this one's Karahan, and the ribs. There's no reason to draw the ribs so pronounced, unless Bible story, the ribs, Min, the moon, or Adam, possibly. Just fascinating stuff. The ribs. So if they had the Bible stories, naked guy on a cross, Satan, wouldn't they have had books, manuscripts? I'm not saying Stone Age, I'm saying advanced. And the archaeologists actually don't use mythology, so they have no choice. They have to say Stone Age, because that's their doctrine says that. But their doctrine is sort of building materials. It's not really history. History, they call it history, but that's not history. History is human words, legends, mythology, prehistory, ideas, things you can conceptualize, things coming to us from the past. They don't have to have been 100% true. We don't have 100% of the buildings either, but the buildings are used as evidence. But the legends, based on 1% of the truth, are dismissed. So there you go. They're making inferences just from a small area that these were Stone Age people. I think we can make a few inferences based on the surviving scraps of history and knowledge which come down to us. He's similar to the Urfa statue in that instead of holding up these ribs, they look like staves. Do you see they're bent in the middle? It's like a stave. In the Urfa statue, it was like this. So he was actually holding. It looks like he was holding in his hand 2 staves that were his rib cage, but he was holding them down here in the Urfa statue. So that's really interesting. Because that means the Urfa statue is holding onto his damn rib cage for some reason. Why is he holding onto his rib cage? That's 100% true. I mean, let's go back. All right, it's recording it really brightly today. Just turn that down. He's holding on to what in the Karahan Tepe statue becomes the focus of the rib cage. Is he holding 2 staves or 2 ribs? Okay, I think we're done. I think I've covered all the points. So we've established in previous videos there was a Jesus-like cult, or something like that. But it was more like he wasn't just nailed to the cross, making him a part of the cross. He was the cross. He was built into the cross. The arms are the cross. But when we look at Christianity, we see kind of the same thing. It's not Jesus separated from the cross. It's more the cross we worship. We don't worship. No one has a fixed. No one pulls out a crucifix. Is not necessary. It can be a cross, but it can't just be a twisted Jesus. It has to be the cross. The cross is more important. Even in Christianity, the cross is more important than, say, a Jesus without the cross. If it's a Jesus without a cross, it's a statue, a marble statue in a Catholic church or a stained glass effigy, neither of which are that important in the Christian religion. Or in the Catholic religion, which is the older one. Or in the Orthodox religion, unless it's an icon. So we've already seen there's already Bible stories at Gobeckli Tepe. It's a kind of monastery. It's a kind of monastery. All right. Okay, peeps, an addendum to the Satan video saying we need to talk about, because it just occurred to me that what we're looking at in the Satan pillar is also Kerberos. Kerberos is a three-headed dog, and what's often omitted is that there's snakes pouring out of him, just like in the Gobeckli Tepe pillar. So we've got the same damn thing for 10,000 years. And when you look at the Greek myths, it's clear the Greeks treat these as funny stories. They don't treat them as gods. Whereas in Gobeckli Tepe, he's a god. This is a god. This is something you might worship. So it shows how old it is, and there's even a bird flying above. So it's a three-headed monstrous dog. Guards the entrance to the underworld, preventing dead from leaving and living from entering. It's quite different to the Caucasus Satanaya, about whom we know almost nothing. It's some kind of sunrise goddess. But we don't know, I'm not seeing any stories on Wikipedia or anywhere about her, so I don't know anything about Satanaya of the Caucasus, but it's clear the name is based on 100 snakes, 100 nagas. And this is similar, very similar, and it's the dog, like similar to Norse mythology. Norse mythology is a combination of something totally unique and Aryan mythology. For example, some Norse mythology starts the world with a cow, like Aryan mythology. Heracles was brought to Cerberus as one of his 12 labours. Okay, so I thought, okay, Hinduism, right? The closest Hindu deity, if he can change, if he's got three heads, but he's also got snakes, but in some representations Cerberus doesn't have snakes, he can change. Hinduism, right? The closest Hindu deity to Kerberos is a Bhairava, a fierce aspect of the god Shiva. So Shiva-Kali combo. And Shiva-Kali combo is, of course, and someone pointed this out to me. He knows who he is in Scandinavia. I won't mention him unless he wants to be mentioned, but he doesn't. Yin and yang. Black and white. Yin, the N, Anu. The two faces of reality. And we have something similar with Shiva-Kali. Anyway, but this is complex. It's not simple. An aspect of Shiva. Dog. He's basically a dog companion or a vehicle instead of a dog. The vehicle is called Vahana. Okay, now we're going to actually analyze that deeper because remember we made videos, and other people have said it as well. You can literally read exactly what the gods are in the Slav language. There was an Aryan invasion of ancient India. The Hindu nationalists will say this can't possibly be. We won't have this, but they speak a Caucasian language, so that's obviously that's clear. That's not up for debate. There was an invasion. Who are the Aryans closest to India? I would say the Slavs. So in the Sanskrit tongue, this is going to be he's a type of svasa, he whose vehicle is a dog. But what does it mean literally in Sanskrit? It means terribly fearsome form. Now, the problem I have with Sanskrit translations is the same problem I have with using Buddhism to describe what the Buddha is in a previous video. It doesn't work. You just get philosophy, you just get writing, and the writing doesn't tell you a thing about the actual what it is. So in the Slav tongue, I'm using Polish, very easy, very simple. The Kawi is the universe, the whole thing, everything. It means everything, all. It means the all, and the all was a god in metaphysics. What was it called? Neoplatonism. And then Bo is God. Rova is it's even in English as rowing, but in the Slav language it could be a bicycle, it could be a car. So in other words, the whole of the universe, God, is is rowing, is moving, is roving around, is being transported, is riding. Riding. The English translation of rova is riding or roving. The rest is Slav. Bo is God, Bug, and Kawi is everything. The universe. The universe is riding something. So it means the universe, God that is riding. And we see that he whose vehicle is a dog. It's kind of what it is, isn't it? Everything is riding. So that is this related to Kerberos? I don't know. That's one AI suggestion. But we see quite clearly, and this is something I've always emphasized as soon as I became aware of the fact, you can't translate a god between cultures. That culture is always going to give that god, or the name of that god, aspects of other gods. They will even keep the same stories about a certain god, and then substitute another god in there, as if another god did it. The Sri Lankans claim that the Indians did this to the Mahabharata, which means the great, similar to him, the great Bari, pyramid or universe, India. Anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed that fascinating tale. Right, okay.